Okay, what is your name and where are you from?
I go by Hybrid the Rapper, Hybrid. That's my stage name. I'm a mix between all sorts of different styles, and that's where I get the term hybrid. And then I also sing and rap. I hail from a little small capital known as Frankfort, which is in Kentucky. It's a small town of about 30,000 people in between Lexington and Louisville.
How long have you been in the music industry?
Let's see, I first started writing and rapping in about 1995, just using B-side instrumentals, and then I started formulating bars and everything in the late 90s, and I got my first equipment around that same time. So it's been about 20 years at this point, give or take. It wasn't until early 2000s that I would consider myself a full-blown artist, when I actually started recording my own albums and songs and showing them to people. So yeah, I'm on about 20 years.
All right, this is kind of a broad question, but who are you as an artist, musician, writer?
Oh, okay. Well, as a musician, I feel I'm definitely more of a songwriter and lyricist. As a rapper and a singer and a wordsmith, I feel as an artist, I try to embody all my different influences and archetypes, and I try to bring in all sorts of different styles to where I'm diverse and far from one-dimensional. I try to draw from all my life experiences like any other artist, ups and downs, and friendship and dreams and goals and spirituality and all those different things, and I try to always experiment musically. So as far as the actual music and the beats, as my canvas, I try to dabble in a little bit of everything, because I'm just an absolute music lover, and I don't want to limit myself to one specific genre or one specific subgenre of hip-hop. So I'm pretty much always experimenting and pushing the envelope and trying to surprise myself as an artist.
All right, this kind of leads into that, but what is your music all about? Is your music style relevant today?
I believe it is. Of course, a lot of my music is realism. It's just about real experiences and memories and relationships, life and love, and like I said earlier, spirituality. Some of it is just for fun, some of it is just to make people dance or just to amaze people, just to make them turn their head, as far as experimenting with words and lyrics and delivery. But what it's about is just being human.
Let's see. What instruments do you play? Do you sing and do you perform?
Instrument-wise, I can dabble in a little bit of everything. I can beatbox, I can play a little guitar, I can make beats, preferably with the keyboard. I've done all that. I've done a lot of engineering and a lot of drum machine work. I played congas in a band before. I can play a little bit of piano. But mostly now I like to just work with producers and write songs and just be a singer or a rapper. I don't really claim to be much of a producer anymore. I'm more into song structure and actually just writing the lyrics and just being a frontman.
And you perform?
Yeah, and that's how I usually perform. I usually just have backing tracks and beats, and I've done live bands. I've been the lead singer in certain live bands, rap, rock, and different types. But right now, at this point in history, I'm mainly just me and a microphone and some beats. I'm not opposed to performing with a live band or a drummer or a guitar player or whatnot, but as far as this moment in history, I'm strictly a solo artist.
And why do you want a career in music? Why not something else?
I've just always been such a music fan that and a music lover, and fell in love with hip hop, and music's always been in my blood and in my past, and it's just part of who I am. I mean, I don't think I really had much of a choice. The main choice was to try to take it serious one day, which I did a long time ago. I made that decision, and to pursue it seriously and to try every facet of it and to try to figure out how to generate money and how to build a fan base and how to promote yourself and all those, all those things. It took a conscious effort to do it. But as far as making music and being inspired to do it, that was always there, even when I was an early teenager.
Who inspires you as an artist, and do you have a favorite artist?
Oh God, like I said, I'm a music lover first. I fell in love with rap music, underground rap music. Back in the 90s, I was in love with the Bay Area, the West Coast sound, Tupac, and then later in life, one of my favorite artists was Tech Nine. Not only for the way he would always create new styles of rap, but then also the way he pursued music and doing his own thing independently. I always admired that. I like a lot of singers. I like a lot of rock music. I pretty much listen to just about anything from 90s R&B to Elvis. I love alternative rock. I like some country. I like everything. As far as a list of my favorite artists, we'd be here all day because there's a lot. I love Anthony Hamilton. He's probably my favorite singer. My favorite band is Red Hot Chili Peppers. I like all sorts of different sounds and styles.
How do you want your fans to feel when listening to your music?
That's a good question because it varies. Sometimes, like at a show, I want people to almost be freaked out. I want them to be shocked. Sometimes I want to be like, "Wow, what did I just witness?" I mean, that guy really laid it on the line. And then sometimes I just want people to smile and laugh and have fun. I wanted to be part of the environment instead of trying to freak them out. Sometimes I want people to learn. Sometimes I want people to just feel me and hear me. So it always varies, and I think that's one reason why my music is constantly changing, or it constantly seems different accordingly to different projects, is because I haven't quite made up my mind on what exactly I want the listener to do. I want them to do all sorts of things. I want them to be on a roller coaster of emotions. So I think it fluctuates according to what song it is that I'm performing or recording.
What is your favorite song and why?
I think the favorite song I've done is called Message to My Son overall. I feel like it's the most heartfelt song I've written, at least one of them. It's a song dedicated to my son, but it's a gift in itself to my son. I kind of wrote it as a time capsule to where if something ever happened to me, he would always have that song. It would always be words of wisdom and love, even long after I'm gone. So it was almost sort of like a letter to him in song form. And then also the video, he played in the video, and the reaction I got from other people and other parents and people that could relate was always really well receptive. And I just think that the song really came together and was pretty awesome.
Do you love music, or is it a hobby? And if so, when did it happen?
Oh, well, I definitely love music. There's no doubt about that. I would call it a hobby as well, but I would call it a lot of things. I think the hobby aspect is a way to secure the time that you put into it. It's a way to constantly motivate yourself. But I look at it a little bit deeper. I look at it like it's a requirement, it's an obligation, it's a goal, it's a dream, it's a passion. Like I said, it started in the mid 90s, just listening and just visualizing myself on tracks with other people and freestyling with my friends, just dabbling in it and just doing it for fun at first, because that's what it was at first. It was something to do. And then eventually it kind of manifested and morphed into a bigger idea, as something that can be shared with the whole world and not just my group of friends or my little small town.
What was your first performance, and what's your favorite performance?
My first performance, off the top of the head, was actually at an American Legion in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. It was opening up for a metal band, and it was just basically some friends I knew that used to rent out the building and have some real independent underground shows. And they had a little following and some people that were coming all the time, and I was talking to them, and they had heard my music, because at that point, back then we didn't really have a lot of hard copies and music videos and all this other stuff, so it was all done off word of mouth and passing your demo to a friend. And they gave me an opportunity, and I can remember going there, and it was basically me rapping in front of a bunch of grungy, emo, goth kids. But they loved it because they were just there for the music, and it just showed me that there's this whole scene that's under the radar, and it's just people that come out and want to experience music live, and it's more of a social thing. There was a lot of groups weren't mind blowing or ready to make millions of dollars off their music, but they were just there for the energy and for the fellowship and for the synergy. One of my favorite performances, I would have to say, would be opening up for the Wu-Tang Clan. Of course, they're a legendary rap group from the 90s and on, but they came to Louisville, Kentucky back around 2012, I believe, and it's the first time they had ever come to Kentucky, so it was a packed event. There was probably about 3,000 people there at Expo 5, and I just happened to know the promoter of the event, and I inboxed him and just kind of on a whim was like, hey man, you got any openings for that show and this and that, and he gave me the opportunity. He gave me some tickets to sell, and I literally sold every one of them because I knew all my friends and local people would love to go to the Wu-Tang show. And that show was not only big, and there was a lot of people, and I got a good reception, but it was a moment that I regained faith in myself, because at that time I had fallen out with all my groups, and I was recently solo again, and I was kind of at a standstill. I mean, I was recording, but I wasn't really building my numbers, and I had lost a lot of friends and lost a lot of momentum. And then suddenly I had this huge show, and it was all on me, and it was a solo set. And I had 30 minutes before the biggest rap group in the world, for a packed house. And I got up there and did my thing, and it was a huge confidence boost. It showed me that people were going to support me even though I was solo, and even though I wasn't with the rap group or wasn't with a band, and even though I didn't have an army of people behind me, there was people out there that were willing to give me a listen. And so it was kind of a monumental moment for me, symbolically, opening up for this big group, but then also it motivated me and it reassured me that I really had something.
What's the favorite song you've written or played on, and why? Talk about that a little bit.
I don't know if I have a favorite song. One of the songs that I felt was important was a song called Lay It Down. And it was a song I just wrote on guitar and eventually did a full studio version with some local producers. But it was a song basically addressing the drug epidemic in my area, because Kentucky was ground zero for a lot of meth and heroin use over the past 10 years. And the song was basically an ode to all the people who were dealing with addiction and struggles, and all the families who had lost people or were trying to help their loved ones out through their turmoil. And so the song got a really warm reception from all my listeners and fans, because so many people have been dealing with this problem, and they seemed to like the way that I approached it. And it was a song that I felt like I kind of had a higher calling to do at a specific time, and it really came to life and turned out to be a good thing.
What's your favorite DAW or audio production software?
I'm not real familiar with a lot of different softwares other than Pro Tools and Studio One and all that, but I preferably use digital 8-tracks. I use a Tascam 788 because it's old school, it's simple, it's still got a crisp, clean sound. I'm familiar with it. I can do good work with it, and I got a few people that help me with the mastering and things like that. But I kind of keep it old school. It's kind of my hidden secret that I don't actually even use software. I use an old school workstation.
What artist would you like to work with?
Jeez, that's another long list. I always wanted to work with Tech Nine on a rap level. He's one of my favorite rappers, and I always thought that we could make an awesome song, and I'd love to be able to tap into his fan base a little bit. As far as R&B, I always thought I would love to work with Justin Timberlake. I always liked his music. I thought that would be a really cool song. He just makes great music and great songs. I also like Anthony Hamilton as far as a singer and being like a soulful singer. I could go down the line. I always wanted to work with Red Hot Chili Peppers as far as a rock band, but there's so many people. You could just pick a genre, and I could name 5 or 6 people I'd love to collaborate with, because I just love to collaborate in general with different producers, different singers, different rappers. I've always loved the challenge, and it's almost like a fantasy to record with different people, especially not only your peers, but your influences and people that you enjoy their music. So, yeah, that would be a long list.
What is your favorite quote about life?
Oh, well, favorite quote about life. Well, I was talking with my grandmother yesterday, and she quoted the famous quote about if God didn't exist, man would invent him. I thought that was pretty profound, because it's actually true. Even though I believe God exists, I think that even if he didn't, we would invent him. But anyway, that's something I heard yesterday.
What do you have on the horizon for your next upcoming projects?
Well, I got a lot of projects coming out. Right now, I'm actually pushing an album called Cosmic Country that I did with a producer named Spoke Wheel, and it's kind of my own version of some new hip hop / southern country type of music. I've got several mixtapes coming out that are more in the rap genre, more underground, and more of lyrical MC type of vibe. I've got a soundtrack to a current movie, to a movie called Method to the Madness that we're doing, and I'm doing the soundtrack for that. So I've got several projects. I think next year I'm going to release a couple mixtapes and just give my fans some good raw hip-hop music, a lot less singing, but just more raw lyricism. And then also with Touch Records, we're working on a lot of good music, a lot of some new original music, but then also some remixes of some older songs. And I'm just staying working. I got all kinds of music being made. I got about 200 songs that I'm sitting on that are mixed and mastered and ready to go. I've always got hands in different pots with different producers that are working on music for me. I've got a really nice network of people. So I'm always creating bundles of new songs.
What is your 5-year plan as an artist?
My main thing right now is trying to figure out a good, solid way to generate constant income, to make music a little bit more lucrative. But then also my main concern is just building my numbers up, not only on social media but in real life. You know, getting my plays up, getting my streams, my downloads up, building my fans, reaching a new market outside of my town and my area. Basically, getting my music into different states would be nice, you know, to where my numbers can go from hundreds to thousands. And I feel like that's the main overall goal, is to just build a fan base the best I can. And I'm hoping that I can start getting in front of bigger crowds, more of concerts instead of bars. You know, I'd like to be in concerts where people are there to hear music, and you're not just another background cover band. You know, I'm a little burnt out on that scene, so I want bigger, more receptive crowds, because I feel like I've been stuck in a bar scene where people aren't necessarily there to hear you perform or watch you perform. So that's one of my goals with the music, is to get some new listeners and to build my numbers up.
The last question is, how do you feel about Touch Records and working with them?
I'm really blessed and honored to be working with Touch Records, because I feel like it's one of the first times in my life that people see potential in me, and not just enough to just say it and compliment me verbally, but also to put in their time, energy, money, and resources and talent and invest it into me, and to take what I'm working with and to pat me on the back for what I'm doing and not just critique me, but they're also trying to take what I'm working with and get it beyond the fence and get it out there into the world, and to handle a side of the music and marketing and promotion that I've been missing, or that I just don't have the resources to do, or just have the knowledge to do. So it gives me a team unlike what I've had before. I've always been the guy that tried to help everybody else out, even though I didn't have the money and the resources. And I got stuck in a vicious cycle of me just doing everything for everybody. So finally, for once, I have people that are believing in me and willing to help me out and make awesome music together, but then also do something with the music.